Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Profoundly Silly Wisdom channel, a channel for people who are ready to start living as their authentic self rather than following all the shoulds. Oh, that was dangerous. So I started this channel, I realised almost a year ago after pretty much a dark night of the soul in which I quit my career because I realised that I've been doing misaligned work for over 2 decades actually, and despite using all of the conventional wisdom I could muster, all of the logical thinking, your pros and cons lists, your career counselling and everything, I just could never find work that felt aligned to me for more than 5 minutes, and so I wanted to share my experiences of going through that, and I call it a dark night of the soul because it was very scary to go into that situation where I knew that this was the end of the road. I didn't have any energy left to keep forcing myself to do things that just didn't feel right to me. But at the same time, I had no idea how I was going to work out what to do. And so the next 2 years were really about that process of experimenting, recovering, but also experimenting. I tried out all kinds of crazy tools and finding a way to tune into my own intuition basically, so I could work out what my next steps were and how I could move forward in my life. And so it's been a long journey, but I basically have found some really helpful tools that help to bring that sort of clarity. And so I started this channel sort of wanting to share some of that wisdom. But one of my subscribers actually recently said to me, you share all of these tools and that's great, but not everybody, is going to do all of this stuff on their own. And she made a really good point, because it can be so lonely going through this experience, especially if you're the only one in your circle who's feeling this way. For you, it might not be your career, it might be your lifestyle or your relationships, or just where you're living even. You just feel that it's not reflective of where you are, and you're not feeling fulfilled, but you don't know how to move beyond that. You don't know what is right for you almost. So she said to me, it would be really helpful if you actually offered to work with people. And I thought, well, that's a very good idea and a good use of a YouTube channel. So as you can see, I wasn't doing it purely with business in mind, because I probably would have started this a long time ago. But if that is you, if you've been following me, or even if you've just randomly turned up on this page, on this channel now. Sorry, I don't know why I think I've been writing a sales page, that's why. So yeah, if that's you, then check out the description box below, because I've been, as I say, been writing a sales page where I detail how you can get one-to-one support with me if that would be helpful for you. And again, to sort of reiterate, this channel is for people who are not feeling fulfilled in their life. They've followed all of the rules in a way. They may have been very studious like me and got all the grades and had a decent job, but somehow it just hasn't worked out for them following all of these rules. And some of us also were in quite serious religions as well, so we had a lot of rules that we were following. So yeah, if that's you, if you're feeling in your life that it's not fulfilling, but you don't know how to move forward, you don't know how to tap into your own intuition to work out what to do next, and you want support with that, then check out the link below. Other than that, I think the message that I want to say, as you can tell, I've not formally prepared a teaching today, because I actually just wanted to share from the heart, and also celebrate the fact that I've managed to do this for a year. But yes, I think that the message that I would want to share and leave you with really is just to, the importance of self-love. And I suppose in a way I sort of hesitated to use that term because it gets bandied about a lot, but what does it mean? Really, it just means honouring you, and honouring your needs. We get taught a lot to put other people first, But coming back to the religion I was brought up in, Christianity, I do remember hearing that Jesus supposedly said, love your neighbor as yourself. But what happens is that we often emphasize the loving your neighbor, and your neighbor really means just, not just your literal neighbor, those people around you in your life that you come across. But we often overemphasize loving others and sort of end up neglecting ourselves. And I think that's often why we end up in this situation where, our life doesn't reflect our true nature, and we don't feel like we're using our innate gifts. It just doesn't have that joy. And it's because we're not honoring ourselves. So, that's the thing that I've realized most recently, because one of the patterns that was really strong in me in my sort of 2+ decades of overwork was, pretty much overworking, workaholism. We can call it workaholism. And I realized that actually, I've realized recently that was almost a way in which I could ignore the fact that I wasn't looking after myself. I was doing all of these things to please other people and because I wanted to be a good person and go to heaven. But I wasn't listening to that still small voice inside of me. I wasn't honoring. Instead I was forcing myself to work and ignore my, my own needs. And that's what that's what I really have noticed recently, is just, it's time for us to put ourselves first. And I know that for a lot of people on this who are part of this channel, that can feel quite difficult. But the truth is, going back to those famous words, if we don't love ourselves, we're not able to love anyone else. There's nothing there. We don't have anything to give. And that's why we end up, feeling depleted and sometimes, frankly, yes, lashing out at other people because we're not happy. So, pursuing your happiness, if you like, or honouring, I like to think of it as honouring your true nature and honouring your gifts and honouring your values, which isn't necessarily a list of commandments, but it's actually just what really matters to you. Doing that is the greatest contribution that you can make. So investing in yourself, if this is your situation, I really recommend that you do it. And it doesn't have to be with me. This isn't like a massive sales pitch here, people. By all means, check out the link below. But, it's not about whether you work with me or, whether you work with someone else, but investing in yourself, honouring and recognising that you have something to contribute to this world, and actually that your fulfillment, your joy is the biggest gift that you can give to the world. Because, science has shown, this really is true. It's not just woo-woo shit. Our heart actually has a much bigger electromagnetic field than our brain. And the heart is the seat of our soul, or the seat of our emotions. So I'm always clutching my heart when I feel emotional. And we literally are radiating out our emotions, our energy into the field, and other people are absorbing it. So the way that you feel about yourself and about your life really does make a difference to everyone else. So I just want to encourage you to really honor and value yourself enough to do what it takes to move forward in your life. And again, not from a place of pressure, not to please anyone else, but simply to bring your essence, your gifts, and your perspective into the world, because that is what really makes us come alive. And also another thing I would say, you know, while I've been poodling around with this channel, I've also started getting together with a few people quietly, because one of my biggest desires is to create a community for people like us who, we felt quite isolated in life, and we've, sometimes not everybody wants to hear about you, how unfulfilled you are, right? So we put a brave face on things, and I want to create that community, and I'm starting to do that, which is, I've got a big smile on my face, where we can actually come together and have a laugh. I'm going to say, do we not need a laugh, people? Yes, we do. But also, share our challenges, support each other. And so if you're interested in that, you want to know what's going on in the community side of things, then also take a look in the description box below. And join the mailing list. Actually, that's the easiest way. Join the mailing list, and then you'll be the first to know when I launch anything. And what else am I supposed to say? Subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more. I just got a leaf dropped on my head. Thank you, tree, for reminding me you're here. If you want to hear more profoundly silly, wise thoughts, usually I do some sort of teaching around the subject, and I share exercises too. And if you found this video helpful, then press a like so that more people will see it too. I think that's all of the stuff I meant to do, right? Yeah, I wish you well, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side.